Thank you for listening to the Midwest Horse Fair Outside the Arena podcast, where we share wonderful real-life stories and expert advice from the equine clinicians and entertainers from around the country who have been a part of the largest 3-day horse fair in the USA. Our first series will include several interviews conducted during the 2024 fair. This is Kelly Kinney, the Midwest Horse Fair Coliseum announcer, and we hope you'll all stick around and learn more about the fascinating lives of these experts outside the arena.
Well, welcome to the Midwest Horse Fair podcast. Today we are joined by Hillside Farms, and what we're going to do here, starting out with this big group that we've got here, is each of them are going to introduce themselves and say what they do at Hillside Farms.
Hi, so I'm Delaney Robinson. I have been riding at Hillside Farm for about 6 or 7 years now. I do a lot of the disciplines that Hillside offers. I've done show jumping, cross-country eventing, a little bit of dressage, a little bit of polo, but mainly I've been focusing recently on polo cross and horseball at Hillside.
My name is Kylie. I primarily do polo, and I've been riding at Hillside for a little over 10 years now.
I'm Margie Power, and me and my husband Tom Rieger are owners of Hillside Farm, and we've owned Hillside for about 20 years, and I coach the various teams that compete in the horse sports at Hillside.
I'm Ethan Harper. I play polo and I do horseball as well. And I've been riding for about 2 years now.
Great. So just to start off with, I'd like each of you to explain how you got started doing what you do at Hillside. So what got you into the sport?
And Margie, why don't we start with you as the coach?
Yeah.
Tell us how this all came to be, and then we'll hear from the team.
Okay. So I come from a non-horse owning family and went through a traditional career before owning horses. My husband and I bought Hillside about 20 years ago and decided we wanted to make a place where people could learn all different sport and equine disciplines without having to buy horses. So we decided to have a polo school, a pony club, riding academy, and over the years we've built it up to 27 school horses. Actually, I think we're at 28, and we provide lessons and competitive activities pretty much all year round, and lessons 7 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
So, Ethan, how'd you get started in this?
It was a family member that was doing dressage, and I was like, I wanted to start riding. So I did a lot of that, like jumping and dressage. Started off with that.
Okay. What about you guys?
I was doing pony club with Margie. I was probably 7 and in my horse crazy phase.
Nice.
We were looking for places to get involved with horses without having to commit to buying a horse. So we found Margie, and I did pony club with her, which is pretty much everything. You get like a wide variety. And I did that with her for probably 6 or 7 years. And then I started to groom for her polo games, because she'd be like, hey, stay after pony club.
Mm-hmm.
You can have more horse time. It's like, more horse time, say less.
Yes, absolutely.
So I started grooming with her, and then she would slowly introduce you to polo, and then I just kind of got hooked.
Delaney?
Yeah, so my current best friend actually introduced me to Hillside. I moved up to the area I live in now, start of my 7th grade year, and my best friend introduced me to Hillside. I had ridden before younger, but I hadn't actually progressed with it. And I went to Hillside, took a lesson, and I was hooked. Like, my mom was, I think, slightly disappointed with how much I liked it, because she knew that now it was going to be a never-ending phase. And I joined the pony club. I'm still a member of Hillside Farm Pony Club. And every Saturday we go, we ride. I groom for the polo team, same as Kylie, just kind of, you want to stay after, get more horse time, and I really enjoy it. And yeah, just the various lessons in pony club. I've been there for a while.
Very cool. So, Kylie, I think you kind of mentioned it. Do you own these horses? How do you, to participate at Hillside Farm, how does that relationship work?
So none of us at Hillside own our own horses. Margie does have a bunch of very versatile school horses who get worked throughout the week. They get little breaks, but they get to do a lot. So they're always active, and they're always keeping their mind like ready to go, because some days they'll be doing polo and some days they'll do some flat work and then other days they'll do jumping. So they get to just really work through a lot of different disciplines.
Wow.
And it's really cool getting to see all of these little lesson kids get to have like their moment with every horse. And it's like it's their horse for a little bit. And then it's really cute to see that.
And I'm just going to jump in here,
Yeah.
Margie. And what's kind of cool is I think the reason Kylie probably enjoys it so much, as do the other people, is they were at one time that little kid that loved to see that horse and get to ride another new horse. And so what's cool about the kids that stay, they can relate to the younger kids who are just starting. And I think that really creates a nice environment for people to come and join, and other people helping them understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, and I think another really cool thing about having that many lesson horses is there's so many different needs from the lesson horses. They need to be ridden in different ways, and it teaches the riders how to be so much more able to adapt to the different horse styles, and if they need like a looser rein, a tighter rein, more leg help or not. And it helps having so many lesson horses too, because if you don't really vibe that well with a horse, it's not like that's your horse until you get a new one. You can switch it up every week or every lesson that you ride and try different horses and learn different skills with them.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit and like the horses that you guys are riding. And so do you guys compete on the same horses in every game? How does that work?
Well, for polo, we compete in what's called a split string. And what that means is when we host a game, we make two sets of horses, 6 horses in a string. And one team rides, everybody rides every string of horses. So the string 1 might play checkers 1 and 3. So a checker is a period in polo. There are 4. And then the other string might play checkers 2 and 4. So the riders learn various horses. Plus, when we go other places, that's the same thing. We ride other stables or other farms' horses.
Wow,
without
that's crazy.
knowing anything about them.
Yeah,
So it's pretty
that's
cool.
awesome.
You find a farm that's in local there and you borrow their animals while you're at that location.
So we don't necessarily borrow. So let's just take the polo team, for example. We travel to different locations. So we go to Indiana, we go to Maryland, we go to Texas, Colorado, northern Wisconsin has a team. And when we go there, they make the 2 strings of horses. We play all of those horses, they play all of those horses. When we have a tournament, we'll provide 1 string, and the other team will provide the 2nd string. So Ethan competed in the Open tournament this past year. It was in Indiana, and so he got to ride Hillside horses for 2 of the periods, and then the other team's horses for the other 2 periods. And the same with the other team had to ride our horses and their horses.
It sounds like the horsepower is pretty important. So
Yeah.
what do you look for? Margie, what do you look for when you're sourcing a polo horse or team members? You know, what makes a good horse to you that you want to ride and you want to compete on?
Well, we're forever home for all our horses, and that's kind of nice because people in the polo industry get to know us, and people who really love their horses that want to retire them from high-level polo want them to keep going because the horses are good, but they don't want them to end up changing hands.
Very cool.
They'll contact us. And I'm kind of the philosophy, whatever you have, as long as you tell me about its health, it can come.
Right.
So if I know it has an old bow tendon, no problem. As long as I know that, I can take care of it.
Very cool.
And so we take whatever we get, and it's really been helpful because our riders are phenomenal. Everywhere we go and compete, people always compliment us on our riders that they can ride any type of horse.
Yeah.
So I rarely would turn anything down. Obviously, for polo, I like something that's had polo, but it's not 100% required. We have a couple Mustangs, and
Very cool.
Ethan's working with one of them, trying to train her to do a little polo.
Yeah, Ethan.
And she's getting pretty good.
Tell us about that. What kind of horses are you riding?
Us, like, just in general.
Yeah, tell us about this Mustang.
Her name, she's an, about 16 hands.
Yeah, she's
Wow.
about 16
That's a
hands.
big horse.
She's more of like she's not exactly, she's a little drafty, but she's not like, she's big, but she's not small. She's a little more of a dominant horse, but she's a really good girl, like very good, smart, very smooth at the canter, and just everything she does. The only thing, she's really good at stick and ball and stuff like that.
Can you explain what that means? I don't know what that means. I don't know if our listeners will either.
So stick and ball would basically just be like before the lesson starts, before we scrimmaging, because you got to work through her, because she will kick here and there. She's just a little more in that, like, I'm the boss. So you got to work her through that eventually, which eventually we're trying to get her through that. But as of lately, I've just been basically just dribbling the ball and stuff with her around the arena and stuff, teaching her, just kind of like getting used to it, because she's totally beyond the part of like she's not afraid of the mount like some horses would be. She's really like not fearful at all.
Very cool.
Yeah, so the stick and ball is basically you have a polo mallet, kind of like a hockey stick, but not a hockey stick, and you're hitting a ball.
Okay.
And so stick and ball is like just practicing hitting the ball around with the mallet. So that's what we call stick and ball.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I know I follow the Hillside Polo Instagram page. And we'll have a chance to talk about that a little bit later, but I know that you guys travel all over the place. And so what is the coolest place that you've been to, or a favorite memory that you've made at one of those places? Anybody jump in?
I think one of the favorite places I've ever played was Denver Polo Club. We recently became pretty good friends with them at our regional tournament. We play in the Central region, and they've done a Denver Polo Club Interscholastic Invitational, which is basically they reach out to a bunch of their friends from across the country. So they've invited some teams from Maryland. They invited us 2 years in a row now, which was really nice. And then they invited some of the Indiana teams that they know, and they get really nice strings from George Dill, who's a horse provider out on the West Coast. So these are, he likes providing to our tournaments, like to the Denver tournament, because a lot of good, like, safe riders are there, and it's a good way to get some of his newer horses, so his little babies, because he breeds some of his own, into arena polo, because we're gentle with them, and we know that they can just really get to kind of learn the game. So it's really cool to be trusted with somebody's, like, pretty new polo horse, that they're like, just take him through the game, you know what's going on. The little baby just needs a little bit of work, and it's really, really fun to get to kind of help teach this, like, 5-6-year-old horse how to play polo.
And probably another neat thing for both Ethan and Delaney, because Delaney came and helped groom this year, they got to go to Culver Academy in Indiana. Either you two guys want to talk about Culver and how impressive that was?
I really liked Culver. It had a really big arena, so it was kind of like a shock to me when I first got there, because we have a little bit of a smaller arena back up where we play. But it was a really nice place. They have really nice horses, and the horses everybody got along. It was a nice time.
Yeah, I think it was really cool seeing a different barn layout, because the only layout I've really seen, I'm not on the polo teams, so I don't travel with them often. The only layout I've really seen is Hillside's layout, so it was really cool seeing the Culver layout, especially because they do a lot of, I believe they do like the parades in the like presidential parades with a lot of their horses. So they had a bunch of like really just tall, gorgeous black horses that obviously like some of them crossed over into polo, and it was really cool just seeing the different horses, and their facilities were really nice. And the people there were so nice too. I met one girl who's actually going to the same college that I'm going to next year, and we've been talking, and so it's nice knowing other people and making friends. And I'm not even on the polo team, and I still like made a friend. I know Kylie and all the other girls on the polo team are friends with like all of the other teams that they play. So it's a really nice community, I think.
You guys have talked a little bit about different arenas that you've played in. And so I think when some of us think of polo, we think of, the big outdoor matches and things like that. Can we take a step back and just tell us what's the difference between, these arena events versus outdoor that we might see, in other places?
Sure. The easiest way I like to describe it is if you think of outdoor soccer versus indoor soccer. Outdoor soccer, I'll just go outdoor polo, grass polo. There's 4 horses on a team. And arena polo, there are 3 horses on each team. Outdoor polo, when the ball goes out of bounds, it gets restarted in by the team that didn't hit it out of bounds. And arena polo, you hit the ball off the wall and it ricochets back. Arena polo uses a soft leather ball that has panels, air-filled ball, like a mini soccer ball. Outdoor or grass polo uses a hard plastic small ball that really flies and really hurts if it hits you in the elbow or the back. The arena ball doesn't hurt as much if you get hit with that one. But anyhow, so that's in the simplest terms. There's some other variations of rules, but they follow a similar concept.
So I feel like when you're outside, those horses can really get up and get moving across the track. When you're inside, maybe you don't have that, but I feel like it's much more close contact. How does that change the way that you guys play when you're inside and more on top of each other?
I think like indoor, you only have so much room for the ball, so there's a lot more dribbling indoor, whereas in outdoor, like you're hitting the ball from like such far of an angle. So it's more point A to point B in outdoor, from what I've seen and like what I've played. So the indoor is probably a little bit more like less. People are less close in outdoor. They would be indoor, because indoor you have a lot more like only so much speed the ball can go to, only so much space. So it's a lot more close for the indoor, and then the outdoor is more of like getting the ball from one spot to another. Do
you ever have to like elbow somebody to get out of your way so you can get at the ball?
So that was one thing. One of the rules is we're not allowed to elbow for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it happens accidentally.
Accidentally, of course.
Yeah, indoor polo is a lot of stop, quick turns, rollbacks, sprints. Outdoors, long gallops.
Okay.
So like the best way you could describe it is like things in indoor can change a lot more quickly than like outdoor polo.
True. All right. That's a great perspective.
So we've talked about the polo. There's other things you do at Hillside. You've talked about the pony club. What else you, Delaney, do horseball? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I'm working to start more of a defined horseball team at Hillside. We have practices every week. Horseball it's a really interesting sport. It's a lot of fun. It's a very predominant in like the European countries. We are the first driving force in America trying to get it actually going and start teams and playing and stuff. Cool. And people describe it as rugby, or if you've seen Harry Potter or read the books, like Quidditch on horseback.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. It's a lot of fun. It's played 4-on-4, and the ball is like a soccer ball, and it comes in a harness that has 4 handles on it. And the most like exciting or like trademark part of horseball is the pickup. The ball, you can throw it in, but if the ball drops, you have to pick it up off of the ground while staying on the horse. So you have to reach down from the side of your horse down to the ground and pick up the ball.
How big is this ball?
It's about the size of a soccer ball.
Oh my goodness. You have to reach. That seems very far.
There's a specialty
harness. I'm just trying to picture it.
Of equipment that connects the stirrup irons together through the martingale. So that way you use your body weight and your knee locks on top of the saddle, and that way you can use your body weight and your abs to help get you back in the saddle and get you out, so you don't completely fly over, because your knee will lock you on top of the saddle.
In theory.
Wow.
Yeah. As long as you keep your feet in the stirrups.
And the ball has a harness. So that soccer ball has a 6-strap harness on it. So you have straps that you reach down. So you don't have to go down and with 2 hands and pick up the ball that way. You grab this harness, this strap.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat. And it was, it's based off the Argentine sport of pato, which means duck. And I think they originally started the sport with a duck centuries ago. I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. All right.
But now we use a ball. All is good. And Europe has taken this sport and modified it a bit to make it a little more structured and more able to be played with teams from other areas. So everybody's on the same page with rules and standards for the horses, standards for equipment, standards for arena setup, and so forth. So we've been working maybe about 8 years with Europe to, like Delaney said, try to really develop this team. And in 2020, we were invited to participate in the World Cup of Horseball in France.
Wow.
And we had a team that was going to go. Delaney, I think Kylie was even interested. I'm not sure if she was going to go, but we had a team of riders that were going to go. And of course, we all know 2020 was COVID.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen. And so we're looking forward to maybe a future World Cup.
Yeah.
And to represent the United States.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
And part of your involvement at the Midwest Horse Fair in 2024 is showcasing each of these different events. And so maybe, this is a great opportunity for you guys to advocate, for that and really grow the sport. So we appreciate you guys being here. But Delaney, you were talking about hanging off the side of your horse earlier. Can you tell us, how do you get in shape for this? This seems really physically tolling.
It's definitely a lot of ab muscles.
Okay.
You need to be able to pull yourself back up. I know for some of the riders, that's the hardest part. Going down, although it's scary, you can go down, but having to hoist yourself back into the saddle is kind of the hardest part because all of your body weight is hanging off of the side of the horse. So it's a lot of upper body, pulling yourself up, and abs, just bringing yourself up and over. The strap helps a lot with that also.
Yeah, we had trick riders on our podcast the other day, and so our listeners will be able to hear from them as well. And we talked a lot about just that physical component and the demand on the rider. And but you guys are more than just these athletes. You guys are students as well. And so tell us a little bit about how you balance all these different things in your life. How old are you guys again? 16?
I'm 17.
17?
I'm 17 as well.
All right. So you guys are knee deep in high school right now. How do you balance this? How many times are you going out to the barn a week? What does that look like?
It's definitely a lot. I'm a senior, so my workload isn't completely terrible. Last year it was really rough.
Okay, yeah, junior, yep.
AP classes and all of that. I usually get out to the barn probably 2 or 3 times a week just because I'm involved in other activities through my school and other sports. It is hard to find time to do homework and stuff, but I've been able to manage it honestly better than I thought I would be able to.
Very cool. Kylie, how about you?
So I've been playing on the polo team, on the girls polo team for 4 years, and we do quite a bit of traveling. So we're in and out of the state, in and out of airports, which has led to a lot of late night airport homework. I remember we were, I think, in Colorado, and I was doing chemistry homework at 11 o'clock at night because I had school the next morning because it was a Sunday and we had to go to school on Monday. So it leads to a lot of very randomly placed homework where you're at the fields doing homework, or you're trying to cram in a little bit of homework after you come back from playing a game. And then for polo practice, we practice 3 times a week. So I'm very busy on the weekends, and then it is nice because our polo practice, the only one we have on a school night is Monday. So we have the rest of the week to either catch up from games or prepare ourselves to have a busy weekend.
So with me, I'm a sophomore in high school right now, and The reason I can do all the horse riding stuff is because typically most of it's all on the weekend, and then there's that one day on Monday.
Okay.
It's not really much.
Okay. That's fair. Another one.
If for somebody that wants to get into either of these sports, what's one piece of advice, or how would you tell them to get involved?
Me?
Whoever.
We're all looking at each other. Who's going to talk? I would say, obviously, you can reach out to some of the parent organizations. So if you're the United States Polo Association is the governing entity for the polo. United States Pony Clubs also is the umbrella for polo cross, and that we didn't talk about, but that's like lacrosse on horseback. You have a racket and a ball and two goals that are like football uprights, and you have to throw the ball through the uprights. Then for horseball, well, you're kind of stuck. You got to call us direct, but we're happy to help. And obviously, on all of the fronts, you can call Hillside or email us or anything. Contact us, and we will help you in whatever way we can. Whether that means we come out and do a clinic for you, or even better, invite you in and have you come on our horses and do a lesson, a clinic, to get you exposed a little bit more to whichever sport you're interested in. So we do those quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the youth that are on the teams typically help out with those clinics. So other riders can talk to their peers as to how is this sport for you. You can get a perspective that way. Do you guys have anything? You guys are managing the Instagrams. Is that a good way?
Yeah, I think it's a very good way to kind of spread everything out. And I even make some of my friends from school follow the Instagram page and share the posts on their stories just to get that outreach, which has worked. I've had some people reach out and be like, oh my goodness, I saw your Instagram post. This sport looks really cool. And so that's kind of exciting. Yeah, I think social media definitely helps spread the word.
I run the Hillside Farm Girls Polo Instagram, and I think that's a great way to reach out to other people who follow interscholastic polo. So we're the Hillside account. We're friends with some of the other, especially the girls teams that play in our region. So we can kind of discuss and talk about other things outside of the tournament. So it helps to maintain those friendships. And then also more of the kids from our barn I know have started to follow the Instagram. So I think you have some prospects, Margie. I'm interested.
No, I'm a little worried for you, Margie, right now, because when this podcast comes out, I feel like you're gonna be having 4-H groups and different horse associations in the area just calling you guys all the time to do demos, and so which might be great for the sport as well. But I think you're going to be busy.
Yeah, and well, that'd be terrific. We're only here to help promote these sports. The other thing I just want to mention, not that I'm trying to promote more, but adults can do these sports as well.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
And we have adults that ride and participate. And in all of the various activities, even Pony Club, adults can participate, polo, they can participate, and horseball they can. So I
can play. So I can sign up.
Yeah,
all right.
We're gonna get.
All right.
Get you in.
Am I gonna get my butt handed to me by a bunch of kids, 16-year-old girl? Oh my goodness.
They know how to be nice.
Oh, they're gonna level down for me. All right. I love that. I appreciate that. Well, can you guys just restate for us one more time those exact Facebook website where we can reach you guys at? We want to make sure that our listeners get it right.
Yeah.
So.
Sure. Hillside Farm, their main website is obviously www.hillsidefarmllc.com.
The Hillside Girls Polo Instagram is Hillside Farm Girls Polo, all lowercase and one word on Instagram.
And then the Instagram page for the Hillside Horseball team is Hillside_Horseball_team, and that's all lowercase.
And then we do have 2 Facebook pages. One is just Hillside Farm, and the other one is Hillside Pony Club and Polo. So something like that. But you can find it through our website.
Yeah. Well, you guys heard it. You know how to follow them now. And well, we appreciate Hillside Farm for being here with us today. Thank you for being part of the Midwest Horse Fair, and we hope that we can have you back. It was a great time.
Yeah, great to see you guys here. I know you've had good crowds.
Great. We're really delighted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Midwest Horse Fair is proudly presented by the Wisconsin State Horse Council Incorporated for over 40 years. Net proceeds from the fair are used by the Wisconsin State Horse Council to promote the equine industry through leadership, education, service, and communication, as well as taking a proactive role in the future growth and development of the equine industry. Thanks again for listening to the Midwest Horse Fair Outside the Arena podcast, where we share stories from expert horse clinicians and entertainers. We hope that you enjoyed this episode and continue to tune in every month and learn about the lives and hear valuable advice from the folks we are proud to have join us at the fair. Learn more about the Midwest Horse Fair at midwesthorsefair.com.
It's not a horse show, it's a horse fair, and you gotta be there. It's the great Midwest Horse Fair.